Welcome back, everyone, to my Waves Let's Play. Today we're going to start out with Rush. We have to level up and destroy our enemies to continue on playing. And that's another cool thing about this game. It's not just a straight shooter where it's all about grabbing points. You know, nothing wrong with those games, but it gives you different moves, or not moves, but different modes, to play with. It gives you different ways of interacting with this never changing kind of battlefield, which is great because if the developers are not going to insist on making some new areas for you to explore, the least they could do is give you some awesome modes to play with. And this game, Waves, you know, it's not an adventure game. It's not one you should expect to take you on many different areas of maps that these developers have built. It's a very handy, very streamlined music game that is satisfying for any shooter fan. It's who I recommend this game to. Anybody who is a shooter and high score junkie, you're going to love this game and you're going to love competing against your friends, because that's the beautiful thing about Steam, is it's all about the community. I tell you, man, it's really all about the Steam. This year's E3 2012, I couldn't care less about. I didn't find one thing that I really was super excited about at the conference. And that's a shame, too, because usually Nintendo always wins for me. But after having... Wow, there's so many freaking balls everywhere. Balls! To hint at a Matt Goldsman video if you get that inside joke. But the great thing about Steam that's really totally converted me and continues to amaze me is the attention to detail on community. You know, it's not just that I can download games at super sales and get an outrageous amount of games for, you know, a reasonable price, which is important for me because as a Let's Player who uses his Let's Play finances to support his channel, I can get a lot of games for a reasonable price, and that's important because then I give a lot more content to you guys. This whole super indie summer thing wouldn't have been possible, let me tell you, without Steam. I've got some indie games, yeah, sure. I got a bunch on WiiWare, but who knows, who knows how long they could last me. And not to mention some of those games on WiiWare I've never beaten. A lot of the Bit Trip games, although I love them, I have not beaten them all. So I rarely want to play a game on this channel that won't be finished. And this one is nice in the respect that it's done when I'm done. But we're not done yet. Oh no, we're just getting started. I want to go to the next, which is Bombing Run. Bombing Run is actually my favorite mode that this game has to offer. It doesn't require you to shoot at any point. But what you have to do is skillfully roll your little marble around the rippling wave pool and go after the green and red ignition targets. Well, red is to set your bomb, and then green is to explode. And of course you get more points for the more enemies on the screen at the time, but it gets really hectic. You might think that, oh, come on, DeoGenZ, you only like this mode because it's a pussy mode, man. You don't even have to shoot. You said this is a game for shooters, and here you are doing a bombing run like some baby. You just like this because you don't have to do two sticks at the same time. Well, no, it's actually a lot more precision and can be heart-poundingly difficult when you get up into the higher difficulty levels of it by sticking around longer. I mean, the longer you stay in the game, the harder the whole challenge gets, because there are some crazy... Oh, man, it's already starting... It's already starting to get heated up here. But it's a very, very precision mode in this game, where it relies on your direct movements and not so much you wailing around with your shooter. And I like that. I think it's a fun, almost maze-like challenge, trying to run your way through the spinning enemies that are coming at you at all kinds of angles. And it's important to know what ball will do what sort of activity. The purple types, the purple spheres, they kind of stay away from you. The green ones, they like to fake you out, so if they're coming towards you, don't freak out automatically, because they may not even be attacking you. Oh, I got some achievement. What did I get? Just in time. Yeah, totally just in time. Oh, come on. But it's a really fun test to see how you can weave in and out of these guys. And what's nice is that when you hit one of those red arming your bomb spaces, it has a little bit of a shockwave that repels any spears that were too close to you. And what's nice also is that they understand that this game gets increasingly harder, and not to mention those green barnacle looking things, they sometimes get in your way of the bomb ignition spot. So sometimes you'll see the green pattern lined within those barnacle guys that are expanding outwards annoyingly, and you're going to have to take a hit in order to get rid of them. So the game developers wisely put in a shield system that recharges every time that you reload your bomb system. Whoa, nice. And slow motion is really cool, especially in this mode, because you need it increasingly much more depending only on your movements. You don't ever have the chance to blast back at these guys who are all around you, and sometimes you get into crazy swarming situations like we are getting in now. Oh my goodness. Where it's amazing to see how much havoc you're having by doing the slow-mo. That's another great thing about this mode. It's also super satisfying to wipe out an entire field of enemies with just one blast. I can't lie, I love that. Absolutely love it. It's probably one of the high points of this mode for me. And those who are still hardcore shooter fans, I think, will appreciate this, because a good portion of shooters, arcade shooters anyway, indie shooters, is that you need to be very handy on dodging, dodging enemy hellfire, and sometimes it comes at you at all directions. You have ships coming at you, you have firing and missiles going at every angle, every direction at you in the screen, and you need to see through all that in order to get to victory. And this is a really good game to train your reflexes at that, or a really good mode, I should say, in the game to train your reflexes for that. It's very, very handy in helping you weave in and out of other games' difficulties in shooting. Because shooting is only half the game. The whole point of shooters overall is dodge and shoot. You must survive in order to annihilate your enemy. And this is a great way to practice that. This is the kind of game that I could see being played live at a concert almost. You know, have someone in the back while a dubstep artist or a digital music, techno, electronic artist does their mixing on the front center stage. Have these as like side graphics, because it's so awesomely colorful and very, once again I say this, ambient. I love the rippling waves. I mean, after all, that's the name of the game, but it is one of the great selling points about it. Is just, it's so freaking awesome to be floating along the waves, drifting along as you go, and trying to gain success. This is a cool mode too. Challenge, I'm not great at it, nope, but let's see how many I can complete. It's just one challenge after another, and it gives you objectives here to get rid of all the enemies within a certain amount of time. You can see how much time is left on the top by that little ticking timer. And if you do it more proficiently than I do, you'll get a higher amount of stars. You know, it's an interesting idea that I was saying there about... that was just annihilation. I hate those things. But this is cool. With the challenges, they never stop your pacing. Even if you fail one, you continue to go on to the next. So that's fine. Fine by me. But with the idea of live gaming, you know, I recently went to a Pussifer show, and that was an excellent experience. It was over at the Paramount Theater in Asbury, and Maynard had a projection on the back wall. He had two side screens that also were playing something. And I was starting to think, you know, great people who are my personal heroes like Kevin Smith, they do live podcasts, you know, so there are people who do music live on stage, there are people who do podcasts, spoken word. Well, what if I did a live gaming event in which I had the whole entire screen set up. You know, we get a cool projector going. You know, this is way up in the future when I start earning a lot more with the full screen partnership, but you know, something I'm thinking about so you guys can know that this is some coolness that I'm going to try to pull off here. So why not live gaming events? You know, I know that they have gaming events. Sure, they do. They have, you know, PAX and all that, but those are more like shopping events, I see them as, because they're consumer shows. It's basically, here's what you're going to be buying for, you know, the remainder of the year, and that's cool to a degree. But I want to have one that is just a celebration of gaming. You know, say we do a live gaming show and all night we're going to play, or however long the venue lets us stay, we're going to play, you know, say this, Waves. We'll just use this as a perfect example because we're doing it. Oh, I didn't shoot them all fast enough. How do you get rid of that cube? Somebody post in the comments, am I doing it wrong? How do I get rid of that thing? Oh, not once have I smited it yet. Not in any mode either. I just can't figure it out. It's too tough! But that would be really crazy, right? The audience could get interactive. You know, maybe some audience members could be chosen to be brought up onto stage, and they could compete with me. And if I have a guest, you know, that would be really cool. So this is get to the marker in time instead of having to blow up everyone by running to your marker. You have your bullets enabled, and you just have to... Oh, come on, that was easy. That was my own fault. You just have to make it to these little red markers here in the time given. What happens if you fail? You go kaboom. You get disconnected. And since I did such a horrible job at the very few seconds of first gameplay on this mode, I'm going to restart.
Connection lost. Connected.
But wouldn't that be crazy, guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below, because I'm seriously considering this idea for when I am a lot older, out of college, and not having as many responsibilities to do, along with, you know, better financially, so that I could get all these inputs for the show, like get the projectors, get all the accounts needed for games and whatnot. But I think that would be such a blast if we all had a live gaming experience, because people show up for live casts all the time. But what if there was a game being played live in your town at the time? Would you guys think about paying, you know, a reasonable ticket price to enter in and play along and be a part of the audience, be a part of the conversation? You know, it could be similar. It wouldn't just be straight games. I would like to talk about games too, so I guess it would be a live podcast, very similar to how Kevin Smith has mastered it so far, and with his Smodcast network. I am just sucking all the way today on this particular challenge. But it would be more than a podcast, you know, it would be a podcast plus gaming experience, and the gaming experience could only be had there. You know, I would consider live casts, live streams, because live streams are cool in that nobody has to pay for them, but they also fall short in viewer realism, you know, because you're just sitting there kind of banally staring at your screen while I do all the fun stuff. Wouldn't it be great if you were surrounded by all your gamer friends who are also interested in this stuff and also had the potential chance to play along with us on stage? So that's just something I was throwing around, an idea that I've been inspired to seek out. Oh, god damn it. I really just sucked at that entire mode. Anyway, that was the entire set of game modes available on Waves. It is an awesome game. I recommend you all check it out on Steam. It's really not that expensive. I got this during a Steam sale, the Because We May sale, so I'm not entirely sure what the price is. But really fun game. Go check it out, guys. I'm DeoGenZ, and thanks for watching.